Are you ready to create riches in your work and life? It's time for Shedding the Bitch Radio and TV, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negativity, so you can realize your dreams and life purpose, and create and accelerate the riches in life you deserve. So let's welcome your Ball of Fire host, Bernadette Bose.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shedding the Bitch Radio and TV. I need to emphasize that, and TV, because we are streaming to you on our Shed the Bitch TV channel on YouTube, on Shedding the Bitch Facebook. We are streaming through Blog Talk Radio or anywhere you get your podcasts. So we should emphasize that you can see our lovely faces should you go over to YouTube. Or you could just hear our lovely husky voices, at least mine, if you stay right here with us on any of your podcast streaming services. But we have a great show because guess what? We're going to learn to work smarter and not harder. I mean, why? Why do we want to work harder? We don't. We're going to learn to work smarter and I love this subject, and even use law of attraction and energy to get us there. All right. But before we get into all of that, let me just very quickly thank our ongoing partner and sponsor, North Georgia Tax Solutions. Debbie Snelling and her team provide fabulous full service financial and tax services needs to small to corporate size clients all over the country, not just North Georgia. And at the same time, really provide even individuals the kind of the stability, the trusted advisor, and all the great support that you might need when it comes to financial services or tax services. So be sure to reach out to her and her team at ngtaxsolutions.com. Tell her I said hi. All right. We also need to thank our new and ongoing listeners and viewers. Our longtime viewers and listeners have definitely done a great job in liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, following, tweeting, and sharing. And we're finding more and more of those powerhouse women that we really want to be able to inspire, educate, and inform when it comes to really maximizing what it is that they want in their work and life so they can create those riches that they deserve. So I want to thank both our new and our ongoing community, and continue to do that. Continue to even share suggested topics and experts so we know kind of what it is that you want to hear and learn from the Shedding the Bitch radio and TV community. All right. Now let's get into this subject, shall we? As I said, we're going to talk about how to work smarter, not harder, and using the law of attraction and energy to achieve success. Now, how to use manifestation and the law of attraction to achieve success in your life and business is not necessarily understood by everyone. And so we want to definitely be talking about how to get in the flow to attract things and not chase things. So what we want you to be listening for is how to manage your energy. Because trust me when I say we all get exhausted, overwhelmed, and burned out. So our guest is also going to speak about how to avoid burnout and how to really not just use law of attraction, but really maximize law of attraction. All right. So let me tell you about our guest, Sabrina Sarabella. She is a business coach, clinical nutritionist, and wellness expert that helps entrepreneurs work smarter and have more time for living by creating critical systems that help them make more money without the hustle. She is passionate about helping entrepreneurs grow their business, build their brand, and incorporate additional income streams so that they can work less hours while increasing revenue. Don't we all want that? Her greatest joy is helping other people to have and live a life that is filled with health and wellness. So welcome to the program, Sabrina Sarabella. How are you, Sabrina?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
I am so excited to have you here and this topic, because as we all are right now, it just seems like nothing is slowing down.
Yeah, burnout is real. And I think as especially female entrepreneurs, we deal with it all the time. We're trying to do a million things all the time. We have our jobs, we have our families. We're trying to be active with our friends, call our friends back, text them back. It's like a million things never stop, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me something. Of all the subjects in the world that you could be an expert at and you could be coaching and you could be so passionate about, share with us a little bit about you and your backstory as far as how you've gotten to where you are kind of focused in this area of helping women, especially entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I have been a serial entrepreneur my whole life. My parents are entrepreneurs, have their own business. I started when I was 5 years old, would do magic shows, and I would charge my family to come to them. So that was like my first business. And as I got older, I was really into wellness and fitness. So I started out, yeah, isn't that great? I started to really get into wellness and fitness. My mother was really big into it, and I wanted to be a personal trainer, but I was too young. So what I would do was I would take my mom's friends on power walks, and I would charge them because they wanted to work out, but I couldn't really take them to a gym because I was only 16. So I would take them on these power walks and charge them. And then from there, I started my own personal training business. It was super lucrative. And then I went away to college and studied to be an exercise physiologist. And I had a master undergrad in exercise phys with business management in it. And then through there, I worked in a corporate wellness, corporate gyms, and then I was teaching my own classes. And long story short, as a fitness professional, and if you're anyone a fitness professional with entrepreneurs, we're working long hours. It was like all morning, all day, till late at night, not sleeping enough. And eventually I suffered really bad burnout, adrenal fatigue. I just suffered. I was exhausted, couldn't get out of bed, gaining weight. It was just miserable. So all these things led me to there has to be a better way. There has to be ways that you can build your systems, build your businesses without having to hustle so much and really start to attract things and let be in the flow. So yeah, everything just kind of combined into one. I started to do some online programming. I got into Reiki, energy management, law of attraction. And from there, just the last decade, I've just been really embraced in that and love it and love sharing it because it really works in anything you do in life and anything your business. And I always say being an entrepreneur is the best gift you can give to yourself because it is a huge lesson in self-development and in learning how to grow as a person and really test you. So putting all these things together, I think, is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely love the fact that you were charging your mother's friends for helping them on their power walks. That is an entrepreneur. 16, 10 years old, 50 years old. That is awesome and what jumped out at me when you were discussing that, and I'm hoping that our listeners who are predominantly women and women entrepreneurs are hearing about the fact that you are worth and you have the expertise and that you need to be going out there and charging for what it is that you're doing. So many female entrepreneurs have a really hard time asking for what it is that they really want, especially when it comes to their rate or their value. And so that is proof in the pudding that when there's a need out there from somebody, in this case, her mother's friends at 16 years old, when she was 16 years old, you should charge for what it is that you are an expert at and how you are serving because it's adding value. I just had to say that because that's what jumped out at me when you were sharing that. That's awesome. Absolutely. And it's very organic. You didn't go from this one line of, career or work. And then all of a sudden, when you became an entrepreneur, going in a different direction. I love those organic. It happened as a result of your own journey. So where would you say your sweet spot is with all of this knowledge and expertise that you have and what you're really passionate about? Where would you say your sweet spot is when it comes to helping female entrepreneurs?
So I kind of combine a lot of things together in the whole, because if you're not well, if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to run your business. If you're not getting up energized every day, you're not going to be able to run your business. So looking at the whole thing, I don't know if you're into human design, but they talk a little bit about human design. It's I'm a projector. So what I do is I see other people's things and I can kind of fix them. So my sweet spot is seeing what you're doing in your business or your life and fixing things, tweaking things, saying we can do this better. We can change things here. we can make you have more money doing this way. So that's definitely my sweet spot.
Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, and for you caught me because I would say yes, I've heard of the concept. It's just not an area that I've kind of like devoted myself to. However, since you brought it up, help everyone else understand briefly, if you can, about human design.
So I'm not an expert in it at all. I'm just brand new to it too. Just got introduced.
That's
to
okay.
It.
That's okay.
It has to do with your birth chart and astrology, and it tells you like if you're talks about manifestors and it's called generating manifestors, projectors, and just kind of tells how you are showing up in the world.
Okay.
And as a projector, it's you kind of oversee things and you tweak things and figure out how to do things better. So it kind of, and I just learned about that. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I do. That's exactly what I'm doing in my life. And
that's very cool. I'm going to be looking that up as soon as we're done here and seeing what I am. That's very cool.
I've had my astrology chart done recently too. I know it's kind of woo, but the same thing. They were like, "Oh, you're going to really succeed in virtual stuff and wellness." I'm like, "That's what I do." So it's really crazy how and that's the whole thing is like how your life lines up when you just kind of like listen to their inner voice and kind of follow like what you're passionate about. And I think a lot of times we like go like, why is it working? Why is it working? Because we're kind of going against what like our intuition's telling us to.
Right.
So I love tapping into both. Like I'm very grounded, but I'm also like a little bit woo to like say like, oh, we can look at both sides of it, but I'm not so out there that I don't understand the grounding part of it. So my sweet spot is kind of combining them without feeling it's scary or like turning people off of it.
Yeah. I love that. And we were talking before we came on. She's from the Northeast too, everybody. So I'm a Philly girl. Everybody knows that. She's from Jersey. So I just, there's a lot of kismet here because that is absolutely my take on, woo-woo versus how-to, I call it. Mm-hmm. Is I kind of like, I know about it and I dabble in it. I just, I'm also right brain, left brain. And so I absolutely love that take that you have on that. So help us all understand because we all want to work smarter and not harder. And so first let's look at what are we doing to where we're just working hard and you use the phrase instead of chasing it. What are we doing that's causing us to chase things? And yet we may not even recognize that we're chasing.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go back to because it kind of ties into the charging your worth part of it.
Okay.
We, I said, as women, as entrepreneurs, don't charge our worth because we don't know the money thing, right? It's like we have all of these ideas we had in our head over years, like rich people are evil, or money doesn't grow on trees, or these kind of things we put society or our family puts on it, and then we build them up in our head, and then we're not able to charge our worth or ask people to pay us because we've had these what we call limiting beliefs, right? So the same thing goes for like, what are we doing wrong? Is that we're not able to see what we're doing because we're kind of in it almost, right? So maybe if we're having a business and we're like, I don't know why I'm not bringing these clients to me. They're not attracted to me. So a few things, right? Are we speaking the words they want to hear? Are we solving the problems that they have? So it's important to do those things first, like a lot of market research, but it's also important to be energetic and happy about what you're doing. Because if you're not passionate about what you're selling or putting it out there, then how are people going to be passionate about wanting to buy from you? So that is super important. Is like, what are we not doing? Is that maybe we have a product that we're not super aligned with. And I'm sure maybe if you've ever sold something or done something that maybe someone else's business or a product that you're putting out there and you're kind of like, I don't really love this and it doesn't go well, it flops. It's because we put that energy out there, even unconditionally. We don't even realize that we're doing it subconsciously. And we're just like, I'm not really so passionate about it. And then we're not getting the return because we're not putting that good energy out there. So those are some things we can be doing that we're not realizing. We don't know we're doing that, is that we're not really putting that out there.
Yep. I mean, that's what shedding the bitch is about. I lived 25 years putting the bitch out there, never recognizing what it was actually bringing into my life, inwardly and outwardly. And until I focused on that, going, I don't want this crap that's in my life anymore, did I really recognize that, oh my God, what I'm putting out there is what I'm getting back. I have that is so, so, so vital. And what do you suggest to people to kind of recognize, what that energy is that they're putting out there?
Yeah, so it's all like, right, it's what you're putting out is going to come back to you. It's like we are a mirror to other people. So if you're seeing a lot of clients like not paying you or not paying on time, and like, am I doing that to other people? Or maybe you're seeing like they're not grateful for me or they're not showing up on time, just like little things. So it's really about being aware first. So what is frustrating you? What is bothering you? What's triggering you? And then look at it like, oh, is that really coming from me and I'm not realizing it? I think the biggest thing is being self-aware. A lot of times we're not self-aware. We're kind of going through life like one step after another, just closing our eyes because like that's what life told us to do. We're told to get a job and this and have what picket fence, all these things society has told us. But is that truly what you want? Is that truly what lights you up inside? Is that what you want your life path to be? And if things aren't working out, maybe the path you're on isn't the path you're supposed to be on. And there's other things you can do out there.
Right. Oh my God, but that's not for me. But I'm just gonna, I kind of feel what other people feel. People are freaking out right now because they're like, that sounds so scary, Sabrina. For me to, kind of acknowledge that, what I'm doing is not what I really am, want to be doing. How do you kind of calm? How do you calm those fears? How do you work with your clients to really help them feel safe to where they can start looking at those type of things and acknowledging where they may not be completely happy?
So it's baby steps, right? It's nothing changes overnight. You don't have to change your whole life and like give up and move to Italy and lay on the beach and sell iced coffees. That's what I want to do one day.
That's what I want to do. I'm going with you.
They don't have iced coffee in Italy. Every time I went, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, we're opening an iced coffee shop eventually. That's my thing. But you don't have to make big steps. It's really about figuring out what you want. And a lot of times that just takes being quiet, journaling, thinking about it. And actually it might feel like you don't even know what you want because you've been told all these things at your life. And maybe you have a family to support and all these sorts of things. So you can't do what you really want to do. So for those people, I say, like, can you do something part-time or a side hustle, or maybe it's something creative? Like, what do you love to do? What brings you joy? So step number one is figuring out what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And that might take months, weeks, days, minutes to figure out, right? It's all different for everybody. It depends on how far away you've been from like your true alignment of yourself. So if you feel scared by that, I say take your time. Start to just practice in this, like journal every day, meditate for 1 minute first and then 2 minutes and those kinds of things.
Love that.
I'm not a person that likes to change things overnight either. You can make a big change if you want, but that might feel scary for you and some might feel exciting for others. So it's really about what makes you feel okay. And again, you don't need to jump out and quit your job tomorrow. I'm not saying that. I'm saying start to figure out what actually makes you happy, what brings you joy and passion into your life.
Awesome. Yes, because I'll leave it at that. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So I want to go back to the burnout though, because I'm not sure if we kind of finished that completely. Yeah. What are some specific things that you would tell all these very overwhelmed, exhausted, and drained female entrepreneurs out there about what they could be doing to prevent the burnout before it even like comes anywhere near them?
So number one is taking care of yourself first, right? No one else can be happy. No one else, you can't do your job unless you're taking care of yourself. So what exactly does that mean? That means eating healthy. None of this junk food all day. I'm not too busy to eat. Get a meal prep service, go to your local grocery store, prep on the weekends, get healthy foods, right? That is super important. Your body needs to be nourished, number one, in order to prevent burnout and to be optimal health, right? Second is to start some kind of activity, exercise routine. It can be just walking at first. It can be a 10-minute workout in your house. YouTube's got great things. I've got some great online stuff too. So it's really about being active, right? The body needs to move, and that's also too how you get creative thoughts, by moving. Third would be sleep. Sleep is super, super important. Now, a lot of us do not get good sleep, and there's many ways to help get us sleep, right? I talk about a bedtime routine, making the room super dark at night, winding down, no TV, no news, no crazy shows at night. And then also... Completely
at night or a certain amount of time before you go to bed?
I say at least like a half an hour, at least before you go to bed. If you can do longer, it'd be great, right? So like, no, I don't like the news at night. No murder mysteries. It's keeping you up at night. And everyone's a little different. So figuring out what really keeps you up at night, journaling before bed, getting the thoughts out of your head onto paper, super important. But it's really about getting good sleep.
Yeah.
And then it's looking at your life. Where can you work in your zone of genius and where can you outsource? So some simple things. If you are spending all day on a Saturday cleaning your house and you could pay someone an amount to clean your house that'll save you 8 hours a day and frustration yelling at your family because you're cleaning the bathrooms or they're not helping you, then you have to invest in those things. Looking at your life and figuring out where can I ask for help. And I think that is one thing that we don't do, especially as women, is we don't ask for help. We want to do everything ourselves because we did it all, right? And then
Absolutely.
And then then it's like that cycle. It's like, well, I did it. And then they get nasty. And it's like, you're getting people nasty about that because you chose to do it, right? I don't look about any CEO, anyone that's really successful outsources a lot of their stuff. They don't do everything themselves. So the CEO of your house, right? You have to outsource certain things.
Right. But what do you say to those people that are like, I don't have the money to do that?
So think about maybe where you can cut back. So if you can maybe not go out to dinner one night and use that to use a housekeeper, or can you make more money in that hour than it is to pay someone else that does it more efficiently? I'm just using housekeeping as a simple thing. I think it's simple to kind of relate to.
Right.
And usually the people that are cleaning your house are efficient. They know what they're doing. They come in, they're cleaning out. I know for me, I'm like sitting on the couch, dilly-dallying, and it takes me all day when they can come in 2 hours and clean everything because they're efficient and I'm not. So for me to waste 6 hours of my day where I can be making money in that time or doing other things, I'm going to outsource those things. So the money thing is really looking at where you're valuing. The same thing like yard work. Can you pay someone those things you're not spending all weekend and then regretting all those things or being nasty about them or being upset that your weekend went by and you did nothing but worked all weekend and now you got to go back to your job and try to be productive. So I know the money thing, but really thinking about the energy thing more than just the money.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. Because that's great segue. Because the energy that you're putting into something is either attracting or detracting the money that's coming to you, right?
Yes. Money is energy.
So help us understand that more because the first thing that came to my head is even that aggravation or agitation about having to clean the house, for 6 hours and taking 6 hours versus making that decision to actually open your wallet and invest in a housekeeper so you can go and find that joy and that happiness is then going to create energy that then attracts money.
Yeah, exactly. So energy, money is energy. It's always flowing in and out, right? So it's always about like, there's abundance in the world. There's always enough. There's more than enough to go around. So you holding on to things, right? Think about like you're kind of like this, right? You're not going to get anything. But when you're flowing, things flow to you. So if you believe that money will always come back to you, it will. You give it out, it comes back. You're giving a service. The same thing like we talk about charging your worth is I'm giving you a service. So to match my energy back, you pay me in money. Those things are important. So again, like that, I'm angry all day because I'm putting all this work into my cleaning and I'd really rather be outside. That is repelling the money coming in because I'm bitter about things. But instead being, okay, I'm going to give this $100 to my housekeeper to clean my house. I'm joyful that I'm able to give her that energy and money. And she's going to make, or he's going to make my house look gorgeous. And I'm going to come home and love where I live. And my energy, my vibration is already raised. So it's about raising your vibration to match the good things in life, the gratitude, being happy for those things, right? You think about words like angry, sad is a low vibration word. Happy, joy is high vibration word.
Right.
Those good things happen to you when you're in the high vibration. And you don't have to be high vibration all the time, right? There's always going to be maybe a sad time in life, and that's okay to get through that. It's really about not dwelling on those things and being in those a long time. It's about, getting up that morning and having gratitude for the day, thinking about all the good things that are going to come to you, and that's what happens. They start to come to you. Right.
And would you say, okay, and is that the element you talk a lot about attracting, how to attract clients to your business? Is that an element of that? Is there anything more to that we need to really understand?
there's a few things. It's about being grateful for what you have. So if you're saying, I only have one client, instead flip it. I'm so grateful for that one client. I'm going to serve them the best I can. And then they're going to probably go out and tell people about how great you are. They're going to put great work into their world. It's about also, again, being passionate about what you're doing. You're serving. And don't think about sales as selling. Think about sales as serving. If you're doing a disservice to the world, if you don't go out there and share what you have to offer to people to come work with you. So that energy of putting those things out there, people are going to find you. When you are in alignment with what you're putting out there, your clients are just going to come flowing to you because you're in that flow of I am attracting, I'm bringing in, I'm grateful for it, I'm passionate about what I'm putting out. I know my product is really good.
Right. But there are, because I've had, clients, but there are people out there that feel that they're giving, they're serving, they're giving, they're, in a high vibration. And yet, they'll complain that, oh my God, but it's like, I'm just getting all these people that keep taking. And I'm not necessarily receiving. What would you say to them?
I would say, check your boundaries. Do you have any boundaries? Are you letting them take too much? Right. So it's saying like, I have this client, but they text me all day on the weekends and I'm responding to them. So you don't have boundaries, right? It's saying like, okay, I know I'm only going to be able to respond 24 hours, Monday through Friday, whatever your boundaries are. So look at the things that you're doing too, because it's usually something's not matched. And if they're taking from you and you're not receiving, it's something is off about either your boundaries, you're saying no, you're not saying no enough, you're not being clear enough. So checking those things out first will be able to put you in alignment with the people that you want to work with.
It's bizarre how much in the last 2 or 3 weeks the theme of boundaries has come up. I'm trying to lean into it because something's percolating there. Now, this might sound like a strange question, but I'm going to ask it. Is there a difference, or what is the difference between attraction and manifesting?
It's really the same. Manifesting is like a series of things that you do, like you in steps, right? So manifestation process is getting clear on what you want, asking, then being specific and asking for what you want. Then so again, one thing is about attracting or manifesting is that you have to do the work too. You can't just say, I want to win the lottery and then sit in your butt and never do anything. You have to play the lottery, right? So it's about clarifying what you want, asking for what you want, taking inspired action, and then trusting the universe. So it's about the manifestation is the process, attracting is what is coming to you. So they're similar, they're same kind of thing, but it's really about the whole process around it.
Yeah. And, you use the word trust. Do you find that people can understand and even believe in what it is that you're saying about all of this subject matter? And yet they're still, it's as if a wall is still up in front of them. And is there, where does trust come into play, I guess is my question.
So I think it takes like seeing it actually happen to almost believe it sometimes. So I always say, start really small. Say, I want to manifest, I want to see a blue car, whatever it is. And then you start to see those things. I want a free cup of coffee today or whatever. And you start to then you have to like build that trust muscle. It's with anything, right? In your business, it's about how can I trust? How can I be open to receiving things? Right. So it's really it's a practice, and it doesn't happen overnight. And I understand some people are like, that doesn't work. That's no woo. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's totally fine. But if you actually look at your life, you're manifesting all the time, not even thinking about it. Maybe you thought like you were a kid, I really want to grow up and move to Atlanta one day, or I want to live in the South. I don't want to be in the cold winters anymore. You might have said that 20 years ago and forgot it, and now you live in the South.
Right.
Winters.
Right.
So you're always it's really about knowing what you want, putting it out there, and then taking action towards it, being in alignment, and it happens. Even if sometimes you're not in alignment, things like that can happen, right? You didn't even think about saying, I hate the winters. I don't want to live here anymore. And then 20 years later, it might take a long time. Sometimes it takes earlier times, it takes longer. You're where you wanted to be. Right.
Yeah. Yes, I've had those immediate things like parking spaces. Yeah. That's a great place to start. Yeah, start manifesting a parking spot as you're driving around in a crowded parking lot.
Totally. I love that. I always like park. Okay, I'm gonna get a parking spot right in front of the city. So it's always...
Yeah. Okay, so you talk about having critical systems in place. And some people might look at systems to be one thing and someone else another. What are the critical systems that entrepreneurs need to have in place? And what do you do in your practice to help them along that path of implementing?
So simple things, let's say social media, email marketing, those kind of things. So some kind of system to create content, to put that content out there, to repurpose the content, to do things for marketing. So it'd be saying, okay, I like to talk about time blocking your schedule. So when are you most creative? Okay, I'm most creative 7 to 8 usually in the morning. So I'm going to time block every day, 7 to 8 in the morning before the day gets busy. I'm going to take that time to content create or to come think of new creative ideas. And then I'm going to put them into process, into work. So it's really about looking at like what you're doing and breaking them down. Like, how can we make this a system so we're not kind of back and forth. I love the whole time blocking and not the multitasking thing. Because when we're multitasking, we think multitasking is really good, right? We're like, oh, we can do 10 things at once. When we're doing that, we're getting nothing done.
Right.
So when we're able to actually focus and do one task at a time and really do it really well, that's what I'm talking about, working smarter and not harder, because you could probably get your work done in half the time if you actually focused and didn't go from task to task and to actually get things done. So I don't know about you, but for me too, is like my Monday's my office day. My hair is in a bun. I'm not on calls. I'm not doing anything. So today I took a shower, I did my hair, I had on camera things. I usually try to schedule them or in my midweek when I know that I can have the time to get ready and to look good on camera. So I'm not back and forth on things.
Right. Yep. Oh no, I love the time blocking thing. Love it. It's been my salvation for years. Because if not, then I'd be all over the place.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, we are innately all over the place, right? We have a million ideas and we sometimes have trouble implementing them. So having like a coach or someone else to help you be like, okay, these are what you have to do, right? Put your schedule here. We have to get these emails done. We have to do this. Setting up your goals or your tasks for the week, and also not over scheduling yourself. I think we tend to have these long to-do lists. Like we have to get these 20 things done today. And then we get overwhelmed with the do those all. Instead, think about what are the top 3 things we have to get done today. Do those things, do them efficiently, do them right. And then by the end of the week, you have 15 things you had done.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing's better than the end of the day being able to scratch things off.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get overwhelmed by this long list of stuff. Now, based on that and based on the fact that you're a coach as well, and I want to kind of blend in this health and fitness, or health and wellness part. How do you blend that into your practice with your clients? Kind of what role do you play even from an accountability perspective in order for them to have that stability?
Yeah. So like I said in the beginning, is that if you don't have your health, you can't get a business. You're not going to get money. So we look at exactly talking about the systems. And I say like, okay, are you sleeping well? What's going on? Maybe you're not productive. Like what happened in your week? And we can talk about those things too. A lot of clients I work with are in health and wellness to begin with too. So we kind of discuss those things automatically. But it's really about, again, a lot of times that we are just burning ourselves out. We're not eating. We're not taking the time for lunch. Oh, I forgot to eat today, right? How many times have you probably said that? Or an entrepreneur is sitting at their desk like, oh my God, I forgot to eat today. I get that all the time. People say that to me. It's like, okay, well, can we schedule a lunch break into your day? Can we schedule a walk into your day? And a lot of times I think we're so afraid to leave the desk and to take away either do some active time, but actually it works better for us. We're able to take our brain, give it a rest, and then come back and be more productive. So it's really about looking at the whole business together and figuring out which ways we can add some more wellness in, change some things, making sure they are being active. They're treating themselves right. They're putting themselves first.
Right. What would you say is the harm or good of someone eating their lunch at their desk?
So, I mean, for entrepreneurs here, I'm not talking about corporate. I know we were
Right. Right.
It's just that if we're just sitting there all day long, our brain is like, it's tired. It gets tired of doing things. We have to give ourselves a break. We have to step away. So it is important to, even if it's not lunch, it's like take a walk or do something. I'm really big into walks. Like I love getting outside and getting the sun. So the harm in sitting at your desk eating lunch is that you're not giving yourself a break. You're not focusing in. You're not, and you're shoving food down your mouth. You probably forgot what you ate. You didn't taste it. Your probably digestion's off because you didn't chew it, and now you're probably more stressed out that you just shoved that food in your mouth and you didn't eat anything.
And I asked that for personal reasons because that, I can get up and play with the dog like 10 minutes after I eat, but for whatever reason, I can't break this habit of eating my lunch at the desk. And I think it's because of the fact that then I'm like, okay, once I eat and while I'm still working, I'll take a 10, 15, 30-minute break with the dogs out in the yard. I don't know, but I'm trying to break myself of it.
It's about like being mindful about what you're eating, right? So if you're eating in your desk, you're not really thinking about what you're eating. You probably didn't even taste anything. You probably just shoved it down and it was like, okay, that's it, time to move on. And that bothers your digestion. Right.
You're right. And that's the key that I was looking for. Yeah, I think that's the key that I need to pay attention to. Okay, this isn't about me, but I figured other people had the same type of issue. All right. So you had mentioned earlier in the conversation, and I wanted to come back to it. You had mentioned about when it came to health and wellness courses, things that you have. Even exercise things that you have, and you kind of just slightly mentioned, I have some of those myself. So why don't you share kind of what it is that you have that other people can leverage?
Sure. So I love to teach classes. I love fitness. So I teach group fitness classes. What I do is I have an online virtual platform where a friend and I, partner and I, teach a live class every day. We rotate the days, and then we record them. We have memberships for live, come on a Zoom basically, and then we record them. We have them on an online platform. So we've got a mixture of bar, yoga, Pilates, HIIT classes, cardio classes, meditations, all on an online platform. You can go like on demand, go look them whatever you want. We do a monthly fee for that. And then again, we have the live version and the recorded version. So I love that.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Did I hear a puppy?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Well, maybe it was mine then.
I don't have any dogs here.
Okay. Because and it wouldn't bother me if because mine always act up. I love that. And am I right to say that they can find that at sabrinasarabella.com?
Yep, sabrinasarabella.com. It's under work. Let's work together. It's called the Fit Club, I call it. So
sweet.
Yeah. So we like to stay fit and active, and we do some really cool stuff in it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, very cool. And I do want to say your name is gorgeous. Sabrina Sarabella.
Yes.
Being a writer and, creating, stories, that it's a great name.
My parents did well choosing it.
They did well choosing it. Yes, it's very melodic. Yeah, very melodic. All right. So what other tips or pieces of advice would you have for those female entrepreneurs out there that might be, dealing with burnout or dealing with just wanting to get kind of calm and peace into their world?
Yeah. I say really take a step back, take a look at your life. Where do you want to fix things? Where do you want to change things? Take small steps. What is one thing you can do today? Don't think about it overwhelming. I need to change everything at once. So maybe you start with a 5-minute meditation every day. Okay, I'm going to commit to a 5-minute meditation for the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to commit to those. So it's really about looking at it. Maybe it's exercise for the day. Maybe you're not eating healthy or eating your lunch at the desk. I'm going to change those things. It takes time to build habits. So take your time and balance those things out. If you are suffering from burnout or you feel like you're on the edge of burnout, think about where am I not putting myself first? Or where am I not having boundaries? And start to figure those things out. If you want to work with someone else to help you, that's also great too. But it just takes a little time of self-reflecting. It's really about slowing down. We're always so busy getting from thing to thing, doing everything. We need to just slow down and really be aware of what we're actually doing to ourselves and our body and taking our time with it and really just honoring yourself.
Right. Well, and I think what you said earlier on is, it's self-care, it's self-awareness. Just being self-aware is just critical, right?
Yeah, I think we just kind of take one step after another. We never even think about it. It's really about stopping and being self-aware of what I'm actually doing.
Right. Absolutely. Love it. Well, I am so grateful to you for being part of the program. And I want everyone to go to sabrinasarabella.com, learn all about her programs. I'm actually going to go and check out her video programs, the Fit Club. But please go. And also at the same time, let me bring this up. Follow her on Facebook, and she is on Twitter and LinkedIn, and various handles there. You just need to look up Sabrina Sarabella. There's not like many of them, if any.
I think I'm the only one.
Yeah, and you'll find her everywhere. And just learn to work smarter and not harder, and using the law of attraction and energy, really tapping into understanding that. And she can help you understand what all of that is, so you can work smarter and harder. So go to sabrinasarabella.com. Thank you so much, Sabrina. I so appreciate you being part of the show.
It's amazing. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. And for everyone else, we have top of mind topics each and every week on Shedding the Bitch radio and TV. And we'd love for you to give us suggestions, and give us suggestions on topics and even on experts. So you can always go to Bernadette Bose at sheddingthebitch.com and share your feedback, or to our Shedding the Bitch Facebook and Twitter pages. And we would love to kind of bring your top of mind topics right here to the program each and every week. It's brought to you by Ball of Fire Coaching, as well as North Georgia Tax Solutions. And I'll look forward to having you right back here next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time for another episode of Shedding the Bitch Radio and TV. See you soon, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for taking part in Shedding the Bitch Radio and TV with Bernadette Bose. We would love to know what your biggest takeaway was. Go to Shedding the Bitch on Facebook or YouTube and leave a comment. You can also subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, so you don't miss a single episode of the show. And with your input, we can help other powerhouse women just like you find the show and decide if it's right for them. Learn more about Bernadette at balloffirecoaching.com. See you next week.